So now we'll make some cleanup, trying to fix the UI and unpossess the car correctly. So we'll venture into the car blueprint by clicking, let's see here, player, vehicles, blueprint, and here we have the different cars. We can open up the base vehicle. So this is the parent of all the child cars, and here we do a possess, but we do not do an unpossess that like we did in the character blueprint player. So if we'll open up the player, let's do that. Here's the player. So here we are doing this unpossess, so possess and unpossess. And here we're removing mapping contexts and destroying the actor. The car will not be destroyed because we will be able to mount it again, but we need to do some cleanup. So this, for example, the remove map context, we can snatch that one, and it's valid, and the enhanced local input. So I'm copying that one, going back to the base vehicle and pasting it. Can do some cleanup here as well. We have this input, the interact. I'm marking them all and hitting C and writing interact input to exit the car and possess the FPS pawn. And taking this one up here, so we have some space. Now we need the unpossess. So right clicking and writing unpossess. Event unpossessed. We get the old controller here. We can't hook it in directly because they have the wrong values. Hovering over it, it says controller object reference, and here it says player controller object reference. So we still need, even though they are both controllers, we still need to do a cast upstream to remember the inheritance. So we have a controller base class, but the player controller inherits from that one, and it's still a base class and a C++ function. So casting is a little bit more safe. So we have it down here. So cast to player controller. I can copy that one and paste it. So I'm doing a cast to the player controller, and this one can be hooked in like so. And this get controller is unnecessary because the event possess also deliver a controller. So we can take that one and hook it directly in. So no errors. We're removing the mapping, so that's one part of it. But so here we're adding it, and here we're removing it. Not the correct one though, because we copy pasted it from the player, so we still need to change this one to what are we actually removing? Well, we're no longer in the car, so therefore we're removing the mapping of the car. So we don't have any lingering button presses. We can do cleanup with this. Okay. And if you're annoyed with this little twist here, we can mark both of these and hit Q, and it will align it to make it nice and tidy. And we had some menu problems. So we're creating the widget here, and adding it to the viewport. We need to remove it from the viewport as well. And that will be fairly easy because we have a reference here to the HUD. So using that one, we're grabbing the HUD from our menu of variables here to the left, getting it, and then choosing remove. Remove from parent widget. The widget is the base class, the blueprint base class of everything HUD related. Remove from parent. So getting out of the vehicle, we're removing all things vehicle related from the HUD. The car also rolls away when we exit it, and that might not be preferable. So when I'm entering and I'm going, and it just whooshes away. So let's put a handbrake on it when we do the exit. So looking at the sports car or the base vehicle car, we have this vehicle component. So when we're unpossessing it, we want to alter the braking. So we have a lot of different setups here that is altered in the sports car and the beach buggy. But what we also have is here. Vehicle input requires a controller to do the input configurations. So we just need to override that when the car isn't possessed. So here on the unpossess, we take in the vehicle component and pull out from the data pin and write require set requires controller for input. So unticking that box, so it should be empty. So now we can actually do a handbrake. And what's the command for handbrake? Let's look at the in the sports car. We can see here we're doing the handbrake, and there from the vehicle component we're doing a set handbrake input, new handbrake true. So let's use that one. So again, from the vehicle component, handbrake, set handbrake input to true. So now we should be braking when we exit. Obviously a problem when we then enter, we have disregarded the required controller, but let's just try it out. And it brakes. Nice. It actually works when we enter it again, and we can run around, so it overrides it. That's also nice. So it did actually work without resetting these, but I would prefer if we do it anyways, because we can't really be sure. So let's do some commenting, because there's, we have a lot of things going on here, so we need to have readability in our code. I'm putting a comment box here. Remove input vehicle input mapping. And comment remove vehicle HUD. And brake the stop the car. Stop the car when exiting. There we go. Tidying up. It's important because our blueprints are scaling in size, so having readability in code is super duper important. Okay. setting cows reference. Yeah, as I said, it works, but I prefer to reset it to the original values, because we can't really trust it to work correctly. So I'm just gonna mark these and put them on the possess. So right after here, we're gonna make a possess, and then it requires a controller, and we're releasing the handbrake. So now we have made some nice cleanup, and the car is actually rather functional nowadays. We have not fixed the spawn point, so that needs to be dealt with in the next video. But now we have a car. So if I would be really close to this area and exiting, I would end up in the zone. So let's see what happens. So we still spawn, but the game doesn't really know what to do with the spawn. So we actually spawn in the world Origo 000, and it's in the middle of this map. So I'm hitting Shift S, escape, and looking. So here is the world Origo, and over there is the car. It's always good to know about the world Origo, so I could take this one and do an alt drag, and in the details pane I'm setting the location to this, and I'm scaling it up. Boink. So this is the world Origo. So when something goes wrong and the engine doesn't really know what to do, stuff tends to end up in the world Origo. So now we have a marker there. This is actually the world Origo. Anyways, wrapping up this video, so we'll deal with the collision in the next one. But we have a functioning car. Peace out. Live long and prosper.